Mic check.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to 4 to 5. I'm Stacey Spivey along with Eric Chilton and Christian Morgan. We are continuing to practice social distancing here at WFMY News 2. Guys, I'm here all week, my second time ever to do this show, but I'm so excited to join both of you for 4 to 5 and of course everyone that's on our Facebook live stream and YouTube right now. Such a fun newscast where we can interact with you guys one-on-one. And taking a look at our top stories, the cities of Greensboro and High Point are no longer under a curfew. Both Greensboro's Mayor Nancy Vaughn and High Point Mayor Jay Wagner ended curfews earlier today. Now, both were in place after riots broke out in the cities last weekend. However, this past weekend, protests were peaceful and ended when curfew began. City officials encouraged citizens to protest peacefully. And we want to hear from you. Do you feel curfew should have been lifted in Greensboro and High Point? You can go vote now on WFMY News 2 or WFMY.com/vote now or in our free News 2 app. And we'll take a look at those results and how you're voting coming up at 5 o'clock.
I think that certainly if you defund the police or reduce the budget, it is going to cause an impact.
Greensboro Police Chief Brian James addressing defunding police departments and discussing changes to the police department's policies. Those changes include psychological assessments for officers every 5 years and updating policy wording to make sure chokeholds are never used. Chief James says they were never permitted, but changing the wording of their policies helps ensure that no officer ever feels they need to use a chokehold. George Floyd will be laid to rest this week. His body is now in Houston for his final memorial service and funeral. A 6-hour viewing happening today, and the funeral and burial services will be tomorrow. Thousands gathered in LeBauer Park on Sunday protesting police brutality and social injustice. Sunday's rally's largest demonstration the city has seen all week.
It's cutting it.
Was the 9th day people gathered to demand change. Groups passed out waters and snacks to people in the crowd. Protesters say they were shocked to see so many people coming together for the cause. And traffic is flowing smoothly again on Interstate 40 after Sunday's protests took to the highway. Groups also prayed on the highway while traffic was closed off, and the groups left the highway once the curfew started. George Floyd's body arrived at Fountains of Praise Church for today's public viewing in Houston. That was 6 hours long. Hundreds lined up for the viewing, open to public, but everyone was mask and gloves. Floyd was born here in North Carolina but raised in Houston. That funeral is tomorrow, and he will be buried next to his mother, Larcenia Floyd. On Saturday, a memorial service for Floyd was in North Carolina. Governor Roy Cooper ordered all state flags to be lowered to half-staff until sunset on Saturday in his honor. Floyd, originally from Fayetteville, and North Carolina, had a memorial, and it was 2 of 3 total. The first was held in Minneapolis, where Floyd was killed. Minneapolis City Council considering disbanding the city's police department. 9 of 13 council members on board with the decision, and the council president, Lisa Bender, tweeted a new public safety model will replace the department. Another option city council members considered was cutting department money to put toward other community initiatives. Friday, Mayor Jacob Frey signed a temporary restraining order requiring immediate police reforms, such as a ban on chokeholds. Mayor Frey said he agrees the department needs to reform, but doesn't agree with disbanding the department. And we're digging deeper into what disbanding a police department looks like. So we're bringing in 2 Wants to Know's Tanya Rivera as protests continue this growing call.
All right, so I think we're going to hear about this a whole lot, this whole disbanding thing. And so what we want to talk about is disbanding really means defunding the police. But how does that work, and what are activists really asking for? Let's connect the dots so we can all see how it figures in. The idea of defunding police is actually not new. Murmurs calling for funds to be pulled from police departments started to grow after protests against police brutality in Ferguson in Missouri in 2014. But it was treated as a radical idea and didn't gain much traction. Now, as the spotlight once again shines on racial inequality, calls to defund law enforcement are growing louder. So, does the idea actually mean disbanding police? Well, that kind of depends on who you ask. Some activists are calling for their budgets to be slashed and the money to be reallocated to social services. Others want all funding to be removed and departments dissolved. The idea being that communities of color often don't feel protected by police and rely more on community and community services to stay safe. But how likely is an idea that seems radical to so many be seriously considered? Well, in Minneapolis, you know it's already being talked about. A city council member says they are talking about disbanding the existing police department and replacing it with a community-oriented public safety and outreach approach. And in some big cities already reeling from budget issues because of the coronavirus pandemic, there is already talk of cutting, but not eliminating funding for police departments.
Protests happening for nearly 2 weeks now all across the nation and the world. Thousands have been arrested here in the U.S. But this is not the first incident of police brutality sparking civil unrest. But it is the biggest incident creating unrest on a global scale. So what is it about George Floyd's death that is so different? President of the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, Sherilyn Ifill, says Derek Chauvin's actions pushed the world over the edge.
There are moments in this country when there are photographs that are snapshots of the soul of this country. they almost hold up a mirror to this country. And when we see this picture of the nonchalance with which America will put its knee on the neck of Black people and make itself deaf to our suffering, deaf to our cries, deaf to our desperation, that's the snapshot. That's America.
Sherilyn says Floyd's case is about more than just Derek Chauvin. She says the officers that stood by represent the justice system and how so many have stood by for so long and let this carry on. She says the nation needs to create new ideals to have a progressive future. And for more headlines, be sure to visit our website, WFMYnews2.com. We do have a George Floyd section to help you find the latest information and stories about the unrest and protest happening across the nation.
One important note is that opening schools will depend on our health metrics.
Governor Roy Cooper and state health officials releasing health guidelines to schools as leaders continue to work on plans for reopening in the fall. Students and staff will be screened before entering buildings, and the governor is asking anyone out and about or participating in protests to continue to protect themselves by wearing face masks. Governor Cooper also says today is the highest day for number of hospitalizations since the coronavirus pandemic began. Hospitals across the Triad are starting to ease their restrictions, making visitation more family-friendly, including Novant Health and Wake Forest Baptist Health. Novant Health's new visitation policies went into effect today. And now let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. Congressional Democrats revealed police reform package. Justice in Policing Act limits legal protections for police, creates a national database of excessive force incidents, and bans police chokeholds. It also bans no-knock warrants in drug cases, which is what led to the fatal shooting of Breonna Taylor in Louisville, Kentucky. Now, this also makes changes to federal criminal police misconduct statute, making it easier to prosecute officers involved in misconduct. And it changes qualified immunity protections for police. This makes it easier for people to recover damages from officers who violate someone's constitutional rights. 3 Greensboro city parks are offering free grab-and-go lunches for kids. Hannaford, Maywood, and Woodmere handing out summer meals from noon to 1 p.m. Monday through Thursday. This starts next Monday and runs through July 30th. 2 meals will be offered on Thursdays. And for more information about summer programs, you can go to Guilford County Schools' website.
Well, weather-wise, it's another warm and it's still sticky day outside. Temperature-wise, we are all in the lower 80s, so a tad cooler, but check out those dew points. Yeah, the humidity is still very much in play. Very sticky, almost tropical type air with dew points in the upper 60s to near 70. We were hoping some of that drier air would kind of move down into North Carolina today. Of course, that has just not played out. You can see, though, some of that drier air still hanging out to our north, and we're going to be quite muggy as we go through the rest of the week. A very summer-like pattern. You can see some rain bands and even some clouds coming off what is still left of Tropical Storm Cristobal, but for the most part, we are all dry in the Triad. As we go through your Tuesday, though, it'll be more sun than clouds for your Tuesday afternoon, and we'll have to watch by the afternoon. We could have some scattered storms about in the Triad to look for. Overnight, still muggy and quite warm, near 70 degrees, but tomorrow, it's another warm, summery type day in the mid-80s, quite muggy, and we'll watch for some afternoon storms. Your full 7-day forecast coming up.
Can you hear me? Check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hello, hello.
Yep, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I can hear you all through my computer mic, and normally I can't. All right. Yep, perfect. Yeah, I don't hear anything. All right, thank you.
People are apologizing, but some are not accepted. We've seen the backlash on social media where people aren't buying the apologies. Some people are thinking it's a little too late to say sorry. And this got us thinking, why are some apologies accepted and others not? Blanca Cobb joins the conversation this afternoon. And Blanca, it seems that apologies aren't enough anymore. So what's a common reason that an apology wouldn't be accepted?
One reason is that somebody doesn't believe you. They don't actually believe that you mean the apology. They think you're doing it for selfish reasons because you have to or you're obligated to, not because you mean it.
So how does apologizing many times relate to this?
Well, when there's a repeated apology over and over, it's the same apology for the same wrong behavior, then people aren't going to buy it because it's just lip service then. There's no action to support the words that says you're sorry, and that's why people won't believe you.
And how does someone's feelings relate to not accepting an apology?
Well, there's two ways. One is that somebody needs time to process it. They're not ready to accept the apology. They want to process the pain, the situation, possible solutions, or they just need some distance from whatever happened. The other way emotions play into this is because somebody just doesn't care anymore. You're no longer important to them. They're thinking about not hanging out with you anyway, whether it's at work or your friends or maybe a romantic partner. So your apology is meaningless. It doesn't matter. So there's no point in accepting it.
Yeah, that's a really great way to put it, Blanca. Thank you so much. And just thinking about this, I think that you can say you're sorry and you mean it, but I think that you have to do something, have to have action behind it to really show and prove to people that what you said is true. Christian, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Stacey, I believe in second chances, and I think any opportunity you have to say you're sorry and you really mean it, I think you should take it. But at the same token, like Blanca said, you can't just say you're sorry and then do nothing about it. And that really goes for not only this, but really kind of anything that you run into in life. You have to really mean you're sorry, and then you have to actively go out and try to change that. And what we're trying to do is change the situation that we're in. We're all trying to learn. We're all trying to listen. But you do have to have action behind that apology, or it's an empty saying, an empty apology, if you will.
Yeah, I think that is so
That's
important.
exactly what I was going to say, is that the whole actions speak louder than words thing is so true, because saying you're sorry is easy. Doing something to make up for it is very different. By the way, you guys weigh in our 4 to 5. We're live here on WFMY News 2's Facebook page. We're talking with you as we speak, so make sure you continue to weigh in. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back. Check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. most of us have an outlet of some sort. I mean, we all have an outlet, some way you express yourself or something that helps you to relieve some stress. Well, I found a Northern Guilford High School student who is incredible. Photography is her outlet, and she's very good at this. I want you to take a look at Hannah Green.
Hannah, I have to tell you, when I looked at some of your pictures, I was blown away. You have a great eye for photography. And now, how did you get into photography, and what does it do for you?
My dad and one of his friends have always been doing photography since I remember, and I wanted to try it. So I really like photography because sometimes I can't find the right words for things, and pictures really help with that.
How does it affect you? Like, how does photography allow you to express yourself?
Like I said before, sometimes I can't find the right words, so pictures can help me express my feelings or things that I see differently than other people.
What kind of response did you get on some of your images? Because I know your art teacher or photography teacher told me you're exceptional at this. What kind of comments do you get when you show people your work?
I've been told that they were really good and powerful, and they have a message.
Have you ever gone through anything emotional in your life that photography helps you deal with?
Yes, I've gone through a lot of family stuff, and sometimes photography just helps me get through it. I can show how I feel or what I need to say through pictures if I can't do that out loud.
Thanks for being with us today. We appreciate your time.
So I will tell you that you saw what she does. Incredible work. She's also super humble. I could hardly get her to tell me how good she is because she is that good. In the next half hour, we're going to show you some images. If you thought those were good, wait until you see what she did at a recent protest, the raw emotion that this kid captured. I mean, and at the age of, 16 years old-ish, that it's pretty amazing what she can do.
Oh yeah, she definitely has an eye for this, Eric. And I know it's so cliche to say, but pictures really are worth 1,000 words. And I think it's so cool that she's capturing these moments, especially in today's climate, that she can look back on and show her family, her grandkids, in the future. She really is incredible at this. And who knows, maybe
Yes.
she has a career in it.
Yeah, and she goes, I haven't really decided yet, but I know it'll never not be a part of my life. So she's big on this, and I want everybody to stay tuned because these images she got from the protest are full of emotion.
I cannot wait to see them, Eric. Thank you so much for sharing her story with us. And we'll be back right after this break. Stay with us.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think I can get higher than 10.
People are coming together across the nation, pushing for change following George Floyd's death, especially at 38th and Chicago and Minneapolis, where he died.
Put your fist up for a reminder then.
A sea of fists showing solidarity from every race to every age.
And I think it's very sad that black people, my people, are being killed for no reason.
11-year-old Bethany Soccer from Ham Lake came out to see the George Floyd Memorial site with her mom. She doesn't think you're ever too young to start talking about something difficult.
Everyone needs to be educated about this because it's not okay for this to be happening.
Bethany is just one of dozens of young kids out here at 38th in Chicago.
There was this man who laid on the ground and he took off his shoes and put one of them on his neck. And he stayed there like that for 8 minutes and 40 seconds to symbolize George Floyd. And that really, really did something.
The parents of 10-year-old Yaela Garama Yav are glad their kids are curious to learn.
It's very important for us to keep them aware to what's going on in the world.
This intersection is now a space where young minds can explore how they want to treat people in this world.
I want to be somebody who tries to bring peace.
Say his name!
A name many in this crowd just learned is now a history lesson they get to experience.
It's very important for us to bring the kids down so that they could see unity in the community.
Brian Moss of Bloomington is using this as a conversation starter with his 3 sons.
I tell them to be cautious still when they're interacting with the police, but I also tell them that, there are people that are good at their jobs.
A conversation that many parents hope doesn't end here.
Well, we've seen some sun and we have seen some clouds across the area today, but for the most part we have managed to stay dry. Take a look at our weather stem cameras and you can see we do have that very filtered sunshine look, and of course there are some thicker clouds across the area as well. Temperature-wise, we're a tad cooler than we were yesterday, most of us in the lower 80s across the area, and it's still quite muggy. Temperatures, or dew point temperatures in the upper 60s to near 70. That drier air just hasn't made it here today. You can see some of those cloud bands and even some showers down to our southwest that are from Tropical Storm Cristobal, which is now just a leftover area of low pressure. But for us here in the Triad, all is quiet and dry. As we head through your Tuesday, though, it's going to be a more clouds than sun type of day. And of course, we'll have to watch the afternoon hours for the chance to get some of those pop-up storms that could be scattered about. But right now, they don't look like they would be severe. That cold front that crossed our area on Saturday, now lifting back to the north as a warm front. So we only get more humid and much warmer as we head into the later part of the week. Overnight, not all that cool either and quite muggy, near 70 for the overnight low. We stay warm and we stay muggy for the rest of the week with good chances for afternoon storms each day. It's just a very summer-like weather pattern.
Yeah, I thought I was doing a mic check already. Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4. Just gonna turn the lights on. Let me turn them on right now, I guess, so you can make sure the shot looks good. 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. Happy Monday, but not really. Yeah, here we go. I'm situated. Mic check 1, 2. Yeah, getting ready for the show, getting ready for my hit. Happy Monday.
Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hello, hello.
Welcome back to the 4 to 5. I'm Stacey Spivey, joined with Eric Chilton and Christian Morgan on this Monday afternoon. So great to see you guys. I typically don't get to see either one of you because our shifts are so different, but I'm happy to be here, happy to see the viewers on Facebook continuing to weigh in about different social conversations we're having. This is what I love about this show. It's so interactive.
All right, so the long wait is nearly over. We're talking about for all North Carolina student athletes. The North Carolina High School Athletic Association announced today that it will lift its COVID-19 dead period on June the 15th, which I think is next Monday, as a matter of fact. That is exciting news, of course, for all student athletes, and Luke Liddon's kind of weighing in on this. This was a pretty big deal. A lot of folks were waiting and anticipating this.
Yeah, Eric, I think we're finally starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? There's been a lot of uncertainty since mid-March, ever since this pandemic hit the entire United States, but now we're close to seeing those high school athletic workouts continue on campus. Now, like you just mentioned, the North Carolina High School Athletic Association announced earlier today they will allow all schools throughout the state of North Carolina to resume those workouts on June 15th. But it's important to note it's up to each county to allow this. And for Grimsley Athletic Director Ethan Albright, he said in an instance like this, it's better safe than sorry, and there's no need to rush back.
We've got to do the best we can to keep it safe and do the absolute best that we can. But I think in sports, you know, there's an inherent risk of injury no matter how much you work out. This year, there's also going to be an inherent risk of no matter how much we disinfect, no matter how much we do, there may be an infection out there. We're not going to be able to keep kids in a bubble, but we're going to do everything we can to keep it safe so they can compete.
Albright told me it might be a little more realistic for a July 6th return after the July 4th holiday, which is a dead period in itself, although no school or county has confirmed that date or whether they will be returning on June 15th, so it's really a wait-and-see approach until we hear from those different counties and schools.
All right, thank you, Luke. Talking some more sports news here. Greensboro Grasshoppers, they announced that they are ending their partnership with CPI Security because of recent comments from a representative there. Now, one of several teams to drop the partnership. That's just one of several here, including the Charlotte Hornets and the Carolina Panthers. The conflict follows a leaked email from the CEO of CPI saying Queen City Unity should, quote, focus on the black-on-black crime and senseless killing of our young men by other young men, end quote. CPI has since apologized. The CEO released a statement saying the company supports the movement to help end racism.
Some Triad hospitals are beginning to ease visitor restrictions put in place due to the coronavirus. Today, Novant Health started allowing one adult visitor for patients in all departments. Wake Forest Baptist Health will also allow one adult visitor for adult patients and two parents or guardians for pediatric patients starting Tuesday. But both hospital systems say that they're trying to keep the number of visitors to a minimum at this time.
Casual visitation is really not completely encouraged. It's when it's necessary to have a visitor.
We are asking all visitors to wear masks when they are in the facility, and we are still screening all visitors.
Cone Health's visitor restrictions remain in place, and a spokesperson tells us there is no timeline for when those will be relaxed. The city of Greensboro has lifted its 8 o'clock curfew today. Mayor Nancy Vaughn says the outsiders who vandalized and looted businesses were gone, and she feels confident only peaceful protest will remain. Now, 2 weeks ago, it was a much different story. Greensboro police estimate about 100 downtown businesses were broken into or damaged. Now, many of those owners are still trying to replace large glass windows and storefronts, and that can cost thousands of dollars. During a community conversation today with WFMY News 2's Tracy McCain, Mayor Nancy Vaughn says she hoped the worst was over.
I believe those people left, and that other people, the people who came here to have people protest, you know, to grieve the loss of George Floyd and other people due to police violence. Once they were able to express, you know, their feelings and their grief without the interrupters, you know, we were able to do that for a week. Uninterrupted. I felt it was time that we were safe and could lift that curfew.
The community discussion, including Mayor Vaughn, Congressman Mark Walker, and Pastor Dion Clark, also focused on police brutality and solutions moving forward. You can see that entire discussion tomorrow on the Good Morning Show.
Well, earlier in the show, I introduced you to Northern Guilford High School student Hannah Green. She uses her photography as a way to express herself during all these troubled times that we're in right now. I want you to see what she did at a recent protest. She took it upon herself to go out there and catch those raw emotional moments, which, by the way, for folks that have been in the industry that I'm in and in still photography, it is not easy to do. She did a phenomenal job. Take a look at this.
Hannah, your images of the protest were incredibly emotional, and for those of you that don't know how difficult it is to catch those moments, it is extremely difficult. Tell me about the process of you going out there, what it was like, and how you pulled it off.
Well, I was with a group of people and my parents, and I told them that I was going to be taking pictures, and they went around and they were praying for everybody that needed it, praying for buildings that needed protection for the next night of protests and riots. And I just wanted to capture those moments. I just walked up, started taking pictures.
How difficult was it to get the pictures?
It wasn't that difficult because I would wait for the right moment to happen and walk up and try to get the right picture. There was different times. We were out there for a while, so sometimes there was a lot of moments at once, and I would try to get everything that I could, and sometimes I would have to wait.
What do you think was your favorite moment from that day in that shoot? Because you caught some really powerful images.
My favorite moment was we met the girl who organized the protest downtown, and they were praying for her, and she was telling us things that happened to her the night before, and it made me cry. It was really touching.
What do you want people to take away from that project when they see this, and a lot of people now will see it because of this story? What do you want them to think?
That there is good in everything, because, we went around and prayed for people that needed it, and it moved people to tears. It made them happy, it made them smile. I feel like it helped.
And I think you did a great job, and if you wanted it, you could have a future in photography. Maybe we'll see your stuff on a national scale one day.
And I think we will if she sticks with it. She's very talented. It kind of cracked me up how humble she was, because I said, how hard was it to get the photos? Oh, it wasn't hard. No, that's not easy to do. You have to have the eye for that and be able to anticipate and get her focus and everything. She did a phenomenal job. Her art teacher, who was a friend of mine, said, you have to see this girl's stuff. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I was wondering how you found her, Eric. She is just an incredible young woman. The emotion she captured in those pictures, it really just takes your breath away to see that. She is so talented, and thank you so much for sharing that story with us.
Absolutely.
All right, now let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. New Zealand says it has eliminated coronavirus completely. The last person known to have the virus recovered, and there have been no new cases reported in the last 17 days. Health officials say new cases could make their way into the country, though, whenever tourists visit or if their residents travel. Experts say New Zealand's isolated location helped get rid of the virus. The Prime Minister there also enforced a strict lockdown early in the outbreak. Just over 1,500 people had the virus in New Zealand and 22 died. That nation has a total of 5 million people living there. And New York City is moving into phase 1 of reopening today. The city considered the epicenter for the coronavirus outbreak in the U.S., and phase 1 will allow construction projects to start again. Manufacturers can operate warehouse floods. Non-essential retailers can also offer curbside pickup. That city has been on lockdown more than 80 days now, and officials say 400,000 New Yorkers will get back to work. And don't forget about the Guilford County Health Department offering free coronavirus testing over this month. Health officials are operating those free testing sites at different locations, so you can see some of those on your screen right now. Most sites are open from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and the next testing site will be open Wednesday at Windsor Recreation Center. Now, testing is by appointment only, so you need to schedule one ahead of time, and you can call the Guilford County Health Department to do so. All that information on our website.
Well, we've had some sun today, but we've also had some extra clouds as well. And taking a look at a wide view on the radar, you can actually see some of those rain bands. And actually, the clouds we're getting today are coming off the area of low pressure that used to be Tropical Storm Cristobal. We have remained dry across the Triad today, and that will really be the story as we go through the evening hours. Yeah, it's still pretty sticky and muggy. We were hoping we'd get a little bit of a break from that humidity. Just hasn't happened that way. The air really sticky and actually quite tropical. The cold front that crossed our area on Saturday night, it's kind of been stalled out to our south, but it's now beginning to lift to the north as a warm front. So what does that mean? That means increased humidity and a little bit warmer temperatures as well. And we'll also have to watch the next few afternoons for some pop-up storms as well. Tuesday, it's really going to be a more clouds than sun type day. And then by the afternoon, we will have to watch for some scattered showers and storms that will be about, especially in the afternoon and evening hours, although it doesn't look like any of those would be severe. Overnight, really not all that cool. It's going to be quite muggy, right around 70 degrees for the overnight low. It's a very summer-like, sticky, and warm 7-day forecast. Of course, I think Thursday is going to be our best afternoon to get some rain and some storms as another cold front comes through. But there are indications we do get a break from the humidity heading into Friday and heading into the weekend with temperatures a little closer to normal right now. Normal highs are 83 degrees, but it's a very summer-like weather pattern with the warmth looking to stay around for quite some time.
So this next story is for the Indiana Jones in all of us. If you've ever wanted to go on a treasure hunt, listen to this. A treasure chest where the contents were worth about $2 million was found over the weekend after a decade-long mystery that caused a lot of treasure hunters to get out there and not find it until this past weekend. So Forrest Finn is a New Mexican art dealer. He posted on his website that his hidden treasure was discovered over the weekend. The treasure was placed in a 13th century kind of Romanesque bronze chest. It was hidden in the mountains north of Santa Fe, New Mexico. That was back in 09, 010, right at that turn of from one year to the next. The 89-year-old art dealer said that it was filled with about $2 million worth of gold, jewelry, and gems. He had posted this. He originally left 9 clues in his memoir for people to search the treasure, and people were trying. By the way, some interesting, kind of a sad turn to this. In 2017, the state of New Mexico urged people to stop looking for it because several people trying to explore dangerous areas died trying to find this treasure. But 10 years later, somebody finally found it, and they're $2 million richer.
Wow, it reminds me a lot of the new show on Netflix called Outer Banks, based on, North Carolina, and they're on a treasure hunt. Looks like so much fun, but obviously kind of high risk if people have injured themselves or died. Yeah, but wow, really incredible.
Well, and I know off the coast of the Carolinas forever, people have talked about that Blackbeard's treasure was never found, and a lot of people think that's near the Outer Banks area, and that always fascinated me as a kid. I thought Blackbeard was so interesting, but yeah, that he hid his treasure off the coast, and they think it has never been found. Interesting.
Well, if you ever want to visit my home state of Arkansas, you can go dig for treasure yourself. You can dig for diamonds there.
I'll do it. I'm on the way.
Okay, let's make a road trip. We'll be back with more of the 4 to 5 right after this break. Stay with us.
Hi, Tasha. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hello, hello. I am in the ladies' room. I won't move. How's that? Is that better? 1, 2, 3. Okay, how much time? 6 minutes touch.
Well, if you ask people what their favorite North Carolina coastal spot is, you're likely to be there a while because everybody has their own different idea, and you'll probably hear as many answers as you do people that you ask. But Our State Magazine recently featured Topsail Island, and boy, did they find some really cool old school family vacation deals. I want you to listen to this because they had some neat stuff here. The article paints a picture of the small town family vacation, really more like from the 1950s and 60s. They say that is still alive and well in Topsail. And if you're not from here, yes, we do pronounce it Topsail. Everything from the Beach Shop and Grill, which is a cool place. They've been serving up great food since 1952, to the Topsail Island Roller Rink, which is operated by the same owner since it opened on top of the post office, believe it or not, in 1964. It makes us all think about the long-standing businesses and all of our favorite beach towns. So that got me thinking, and I went to Facebook. I said, tell me about your favorite beach spot growing up when you were a kid. What are your memories? And you guys had a lot to say. So do I, actually. Debbie Watson chimed in, said, kids used to come by the houses and sold Krispy Kreme in Garden City Beach in South Carolina in the 60s. Beverly Hoover says, playing under the pier and the pavilion at Myrtle Beach. I loved that soft serve ice cream that was dipped in chocolate. I do too, when it was dipped in butterscotch. Martha Slaughter Ward says, seeing the ocean for the first time at age 12 when my Aunt Lula took me to Carolina Beach. Sharon says Myrtle Beach, and we always stayed at a house right behind the amusement park. We used to sit on the back steps and watch the lights and hear that roller coaster and the music. And Linda Trail says, Painter's Ice Cream in North Myrtle Beach, also the skating rink in Crescent Beach. And she said, I met Vanna White's brother Chip while I was there one time. That is possible because if you've ever been to North Myrtle Beach, the sign says, welcome to North Myrtle Beach, home of Vanna White. Mine was the Seaside Inn in Myrtle Beach, if anybody remembers that. And that was right on the main strip there. I loved it because it had a Krispy Kreme built into the bottom level of that hotel.
Well, anything that has Krispy Kreme along with it has to be delicious and perfect, right?
That's exactly right. The donuts had, in fact, what's funny is it didn't say Krispy Kreme. It didn't have the logo. It just said donuts. And I remember that like it was yesterday.
Well,
was awesome.
Eric, I have never been to a North Carolina beach because I grew up in Arkansas. We typically went to Florida beaches. But guess what? Next month, I'm going to Topsail Beach for the first time.
Oh, there you go.
I am so excited, especially after seeing everything that you just shared with us.
So that roller rink, the lady's in her 80s now. She still skates. She still plays records, literally like records, old school, like a turntable. It's just really cool. And the families that go there say she is wonderful. She and her husband opened it in the mid-60s. She is still there.
Okay, well, I'm adding it on my list of things to do while I'm there.
Do it.
And it would probably be...
All right, weather-wise, it's a warm and sticky day across the area, but we have managed to stay dry. Nothing much in the way of showers or storms, and a tad bit cooler, too, because of the extra cloud cover that we've had. Temperatures right now in the lower 80s across the area, but it's still quite muggy outside. That air, the dew points in the upper 60s to near 70. It feels almost tropical. Your clothes will stick to if you walk outside. Heading into your Tuesday, though, we do start to see our chances for a couple afternoon storms start to ramp up. It's really going to be a pretty cloudy day, but by the afternoon and evening hours, we'll watch for some storms to pop up. Don't look like they'd be strong or severe at this time. Overnight, pretty warm and muggy, right near 70 for the overnight low. For your Tuesday, really more clouds than sun. And by the afternoon, 2 to really 7 and 8 o'clock, we'll watch for those scattered storms to pop up. Right now, they don't look like they'd be strong or severe. The 7-day forecast, it's your pretty run-of-the-mill June-type weather. We stay warm in the mid-80s, which is pretty close to normal for afternoon highs right now. The normal high is 83, and of course, keeping a good chance for afternoon storms in for the next few afternoons. But it does look like we will get a little bit of a break from the humidity heading into Friday and into the weekend. It's just a very June, summer-like forecast, and that warm weather going to stick around for quite some time.
Coming up on WFMY News 2 at 5 o'clock, Greensboro Police Chief Brian James addresses changes to police policy. The new policies including no chokeholds, policies that had already been changed, and the ones that could be changing in the near future. That's coming up on WFMY News 2 at 5.
We all want to honor our seniors this year since their graduations have been so greatly affected by the pandemic. So that's why we do our senior shout outs. And here are some of the graduates that we're featuring today. London is a senior at Southwest Guilford High School. He has a 3.8 GPA and will be attending North Carolina Central University in the fall. And Hunter Tate is a senior at Rockingham County High School. She is in Beta Club, National Honor Society, Key Club. She cheered all 4 years and is on the swim team as well. And she has been a competitive dancer since she was 8 years old, and she already has her certified nursing assistant degree. In the fall, she'll be attending UNCW and studying nursing. And Brody Smith is graduating from Eastern Randolph High School. He is excited that he will be attending NC State in the fall. Go Pack! If you want to share your senior shout outs with us, you can find this submission form on our website. All you have to do is submit your photos of your senior, but not professional ones, their name, their school, and you can also include a personal message with your shout out. And we'll have My 2 Cents coming up right after this break.